one of the biggest arguments I hear in regards to voting for the People's Party, it comes up time and time again, is that if you vote for the People's Party, you're going to split the vote. You're going to split the vote, so don't even bother. Can you just give a short answer, even for these upcoming questions, for people who don't understand, like how would you dispute that argument?
Yeah, first I will start. When you split something, for example, if you have an apple and you split the apple, you'll have two pieces and it's an apple. But for us, look at our policies and the policies of the Conservative Party of Canada. It's very different. It's very different on immigration. Like I just said, we want a moratorium on immigration. On climate change, we want to withdraw from the Paris Accord. On these two important issues, the Conservatives are having the same policies than the Liberals. So on a lot of issues, balancing the budget. So we are different. And so when people are saying that, they're saying, I want to get rid of Trudeau. I'm tired of Justin Trudeau.
Yes.
And I will vote for Poilievre because that's my most important issue during that election. I don't want Trudeau to be prime minister. And I understand that. And there's a good news, actually.
Well, I am glad today to have the pleasure of sitting with for a moment Maxime Bernier, the leader of the People's Party of Canada. It is a great pleasure to be with you today, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for accepting the invitation. So glad. And a couple of things. I'll just start off and say, yes, I understand that we both have birthdays in the wonderful month of January to kick off the year. Lead the way.
I'm the 18, January 18. What
All
about
right.
you?
I'm January 6th, January 6th. So yes. And I had the opportunity, of course, to share with my community that I would be having this interview. And someone said to me, you know what, that's great. You're having your interview with the soon to be upcoming Prime Minister of Canada. And I said, that's right. That's right. Before sometimes we don't see the big picture, but we are moving towards it little by little. So I know even as you lead your party and believe for more seats, that it is coming to pass little by little. So, yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. I was just going to say that, yes, let me give those who are listening a bit of your background and you can fill in the blanks. I understand that you have a background in law and finance. You got into government in 2006, I believe.
Yes, 2006.
Yes, with the Conservative Party. You were part of the cabinet with Prime Minister Stephen Harper. And then at some point when he left office, you then ran for leadership of the Conservative Party. And after a time, while you did not win that particular race, you stayed on in Parliament. Then you left around 2018 or so and began the People's Party of Canada. Am I on track?
You're absolutely right about that. Yes, I did the leadership contest for the Conservative Party of Canada in 2017, 2018. I didn't win with 49% of the vote. And I tried to influence that party to be more for freedoms and a smarter government. I worked with Andrew Scheer. He was the elected leader of the Conservative Party in 2018 for about 15 months. And when he told me that, he won't take any of our ideas and fighting for real conservative values, I decided to resign, and we created the People's Party of Canada in 2018. And we had our first election in 2019 with 1.6% of the vote. And I may say at that time, a lot of journalists were saying, "Oh, that's the end of the People's Party of Canada, only 1.6% of the vote." But at the second election for us in 2021, we almost tripled our score from 1.6 to 5%. And we did very well. And now we are working to be ready for the next election that may be in October 2025, so in a year. And we will be ready. We will have candidates all across the country in every riding. And, if we almost triple our score from 1.6 to 5, maybe at the next election, we can double our score from 5 to 10. And we are more and more influential in Canadian politics. And, yes. Our time will come and we'll see what will happen.
Yes, yes. All right, little by little. As you gain more ground, as you were mentioning, I'll also mention that your father was in politics as well, and you had the same riding as him, I understand.
Yes, I was elected in 2006 in both Quebec. I was the member of parliament for both for 13 years. And actually, my dad also in the 1980s was elected for the Conservative under Brian Mulroney in both for 13 years also. And in 2019, I decided to run in both as the leader of the People's Party of Canada, and I didn't win with about, if I remember, about 26% of the vote, something like that. And so for the next election, I don't know where I will run. I'm looking at a riding, maybe it can be in Quebec or outside Quebec. We'll see. My goal is to find a riding for me. At least before the end of this year to work in this riding and to be ready for the next election.
All right. Sounds great. So one of the reasons that this particular interview came about, I did have you in mind for requesting an interview, but I had a recent one with Brian Peckford, the former Premier of Newfoundland and Labrador. And so when we were having our conversation, he made a strong statement in your regard. He said that Maxime Bernier and the People's Party of Canada are really the only honest ones on the scene right now. And he was wondering why there wasn't more support for you. He, as a Canadian, he was just grappling with, this is the man, this is the party that people should be rallying around. So I would just ask you, what is your response, even when you hear someone like that, who is, again, the last living architect of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, when you hear that kind of endorsement?
I'm very pleased with that. And, I know Brian, and we did fight together during the 2021 election for more freedom of choice against the draconian measures that were imposed by provincials and the federal government. And actually, we did work together also in the court to fight the vaccine passport that the Trudeau government imposed on us during the 2021 during the COVID hysteria. We didn't win, but we were arguing, and I was pleased to do that with him because, like you just said, he was part of writing our Constitution and our Charter of Rights. And so together we said to the court and that everything that Trudeau did by imposing the vaccine passport was illegal, unconstitutional, and immoral. But the court didn't want to hear our arguments. And so we didn't win. But Brian is big freedom fighters and great Canadians, and I'm very, very happy and very pleased to have his support. And answering the question why the People's Party is not having more support. Actually, I must say that what we try to do, it's a quiet revolution, and you cannot do that in 1 year. Look at what is happening right now in UK with the Reform Party and Nigel. So he tried to be elected 7 times, and he was successful the last one. And his party has about 14% of the vote, and they were able to elect 5 MPs in Parliament in UK. Because of our electoral system, first past the post, we don't have any proportionality in our electoral system. So what I'm telling you is we had 5% of the vote at the last election, we the People's Party, but we don't have 5% of the members of Parliament. So there's no proportionality in our electoral system. That's why that's a little bit more difficult for us, like in UK, to have candidates elected. But with 14% of the vote, he was able to elect 5 candidates. And so I believe that if we double our score for 5 to 10, we may have our first or couple of candidates elected at the next general election. And also, I know what to do to be elected. I was elected for 13 years. And you just have to tell people what they want to hear to appeal to their emotions. But we are not doing that, the People's Party. We are appealing to the intelligence of Canadians. We have the same platform at every election. We don't do any polling and focus group. We are speaking about real issues that are very important for the future of our country. And there's no taboo subject for us. So like immigration, for example, we said in 2019 that we must end mass immigration. That was not popular at that time. Some people were saying that we were racist because of that. But it's always important to have a discussion about the level of immigrants that you can accept in your country. And we have the same position right now about mass immigration. And now maybe 69% of the population and the immigrants in Canada agree with us that we must stop mass immigration. So that's the People's Party. We are speaking about real issues. If they're popular right now, it's okay, that's great. And if these issues are not that popular, we believe that the more we speak about it, the more popular they will become, because we are telling the truth based on facts, and that's the way we are doing politics.
Okay, yes, I hear you. And I have seen it from the past few years. All right, I have maybe just around 10 more minutes with you. So we're gonna fast track a couple of questions, and I had a couple of questions from the community as well. So just right into it. So one of the biggest arguments I hear in regards to voting for the People's Party, it comes up time and time again, is that if you vote for the People's Party, you're going to split the vote. You're going to split the vote. So don't even bother. Can you just give a short answer, even for these upcoming questions, for people who don't understand, like how would you dispute that argument?
Yeah, first I will start. When you split something, for example, if you have an apple and you split the apple, you'll have 2 pieces, and it's an apple. But for us, look at our policies and the policies of the Conservative Party of Canada. It's very different. It's very different. On immigration, like I just said, we want a moratorium on immigration. On climate change, we want to withdraw from the Paris Accord. On these 2 important issues, the Conservative are having the same policies than the Liberals. So on a lot of issues, balancing the budget. So we are different. And so when people are saying that, they're saying, I want to get rid of Trudeau. I'm tired of Justin Trudeau, and I will vote for Poilievre because that's my most important issue during that election. I don't want Trudeau to be prime minister. And I understand that. And there's a good news, actually. if you look at the polls right now, Poilievre is about 20 points in advance. And, you know, to have a majority government in Canada, you need to have about 5 points in advance between the Conservative and the Liberals. So Poilievre will be able to win the next election. He will be able to have a majority government. It's not because that he's so good. It's because people are so mad at Trudeau. They're voting against Trudeau, not for Poilievre. But the fact is that Poilievre, if you look at the polls, will win. So what I'm telling you as a voter, you know, if you like our policies and you want our policies to be implemented in Canada, you just have to vote for us, because it's a win-win. By voting with the People's Party, look at the polls. Poilievre will be elected. You can vote for what you believe. You can vote for your ideas. You can, you know, and if you vote for what you want, you will have more chances to have what you want. So I'm telling people, you know, forget the split the vote. Poilievre will win. Look at the polls. And now you can vote in line with your ideas. And doing that, we will keep Poilievre honest. We will push him in the right direction. We will support Poilievre when he'll be a conservative, and we'll shame him when he won't. So it's win-win. So I'm telling to these people, don't be afraid. Vote in line with your ideas.
Yes. So we would say, the phrase that comes to mind is vote, pardon me, vote your values, and stand strong in it. Okay, one question I had from Leah. Leah had a question for you. She just wanted to know about foreign aid. So what do you think of all of Canada's money, Canadians' money going to foreign aid in the different ways? Again, kind of rapid fire questions, because I know we have maybe just 7 minutes left, and I have about maybe 5 or so more questions for you.
I'll be quick. We are against foreign aid. We want to bring that money back in Canada. We are giving about $10 billion to other countries, like, you know, to build road in Africa. That's not our role. Our role must be to help Canadians first. And that's a big difference with us and the Conservative and the Liberals.
Okay, yes. And what about helping our veterans and making our military stronger? Any thoughts on that?
Yes, actually, it's part of our platform. And I'm telling people, you can go on our website, peoplespartyofcanada.ca, read our policy for our veterans, and we want to help them. And actually, the Canadian Forces must not be a woke organization like today. And we must change that. We must give them the resources to do their job. They don't have that. And so that's the position of the People's Party.
Okay. And also, so there was a clip that I saw on your Instagram recently, and it was a picture of Pierre Poilievre. I think he had gone to a sick event, and the quote under it said, "Do you really think that this pandering fool will uphold or fix our mass immigration problem?" So there was that picture. There was also a picture of all the leaders, all the federal leaders. So the Prime Minister, Jagmeet Singh, all going to this event, and they gave their bow. They spoke some words, and I'll play the advocate for a second, the devil's advocate for a second, and just go on the other side and just say, when you're a politician, isn't it true that different groups invite you places? And so different faith groups, different, all types of groups we have in Canada. So in that regard, he went there. So, but you said, yes, do you think that this pandering fool will fix our mass immigration problem? So why did you say that in regards to that picture and him going to that event?
Because religion and politics must be distinct. And, you know, when he's doing that, also he's wearing a costume and to pander to them. And he's not part of that religion. It's just only to have votes. You know, for me, I'm looking at these people like Canadians, and I will do everything for them as Canadians. You know, I have an anecdote. When I was running for the Conservative Party of Canada, for the leadership of the Conservative Party of Canada, I had an invitation by the Muslim community, and
Yes.
they asked me a lot of questions, and they said the last question, they said, Mr. Bernier, that's the most important question, because our community, the Muslim community, they will read your answer and they will decide if they want to vote for you based on that question. I said, what's the question?
Yes.
And she asked the question, she said, what will you do for the Muslim community?
Yes.
And my answer was simple. I look at her, I said, nothing. I will do nothing for the Muslim community. I will do nothing for the Christian community,
Okay.
but I will do everything for you as Canadian,
Canadian.
because for me, you are Canadian, and
That's
that's
right.
the most important. So I'm not
That's
doing
right.
identity politics. I'm not pandering, but Trudeau, Poliev, and all these establishment leaders, they're doing that.
Yes.
You know, these people are Canadians, and we must have policies that are good for every Canadians. And that's what I don't like. And actually,
Yes.
we have also in Canada the Multiculturalism Act. We are promoting multiculturalism.
Yes.
That was a big failure in Europe and in Canada. We must promote our history, we must promote our culture, and not always pandering to different ethnic groups.
Very true. Very true. We have lost the ability to remember that we are Canadians first, whether we were born in this country or have come to this country. This is now our home. So you are right in regards to multiculturalism, which has led to, I call it toxic tolerance, that now we have people saying death to Canada in our streets. And
we are importing these people are importing their internal conflicts here in Canada, and we are promoting that because we are telling them it's okay. Diversity is our strength, but more and more diversity, it's not the case. What is important for us is the unity of our country, and we must unite everybody under the Charter of Rights, our constitutions. And that's why we need to stop that mass immigration and being sure that people who will come here share our values, our Western civilization values.
Yes, that's right. Unity is our strength.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
All right. My last question to you is, how will it be? What are you imagining what it will be like when you get your seat in the House and return to those hallowed halls? And what will that be like for you, being on that side of the aisle now as the People's Party of Canada?
That will be an important historic step for the People's Party of Canada. Like I said, when we created that party, we are here for the long term. We know that it's being elected as a new political party. The first election was very difficult. Maybe I'll be elected at the next one, or maybe at the one in 2029. I don't know. But that will be when I'll be in Parliament. That would be a big step, and that would be important for Canadians because we are bringing these ideas, sometimes these establishment politicians are saying, oh, it's taboo, we cannot speak about it. But we are bringing these ideas about immigration, climate hysteria, freedoms, and all that in the national debates. That's the role of the People's Party. So I will be pleased to be in the House and asking questions, the real questions. But before being in the House, I must say that I will have an opportunity to ask all these questions and answer these questions at the next general election, because the People's Party of Canada and myself, we will be able to participate in the national debates on TV against Trudeau and Poliev, and people will be able to see the big difference between us and them. And that will give us a nice opportunity. And I hope that during that election, we'll have our first candidates elected and starting that common sense revolution in Parliament.
Yes, let it be. Let it be. All right. I thank you for your time. I thank you as well. We didn't get into it, but many people know about your role during the Freedom Convoy. And again, Brian Peckford mentioned that about you standing up for Canadians, and it was quite evident that you did. You were even arrested along with many other Canadians. And so thank you for standing for freedom in the Dominion of Canada. It was founded on Christian values, but we are a people who come here as Canadians and continue to stand on guard. So thank you for your part in that. And we look forward to what's ahead for the people of Canada and the People's Party. Thank you.
I appreciate that. I want to thank you for giving me that opportunity. I'm very sorry that I had only 25 minutes, but be in touch with my team, and maybe in a month we can do a longer one. And that will be important for me to try to answer all your questions.